Hey there, wrestling fans. Got a question for you this time. If creating future champions is the clinching criteria, then which stable has been the greatest in pro wrestling in the past decade? Maybe Nexus? How about the New Day? The Shield? Nope. Strike three. If we're talking purely numbers, they all trail one of the least talked about groups in wrestling history. That's right, folks. Adam Rose's Rosebuds. Now, let's be honest here. The Rosebuds were just a bunch of nameless characters who accompanied the party man down to the ring. Neither the group, nor Adam Rose for that matter, really got over on the main roster. Well, unless you count the bunny. But that doesn't mean that the members of the Rosebuds didn't achieve success later on in WWE or for other promotions. I'm Rick Ucchino, and here are the 5 most successful Rosebuds of all time. Number 5, Sami Callihan, an independent wrestling scene icon. He made a name for himself with brutal matches and Combat Zone Wrestling from 2008 to 2013. He's also been a part of Ring of Honor, Evolve, and Dragon Gate USA, so it was no surprise when he signed a WWE NXT contract in 2013. Unfortunately, Callihan's death-defying style never really resonated with WWE, and he left the company in 2015, just 7 months after his televised debut. In between all of that, Callihan also created history when he became the first Rosebud shown on TV. His blink and miss appearance was as the official DJ for Adam Rose, and he was never seen in that role again. After his WWE release, Callihan paved a path for himself in pro wrestling, appearing in Lucha Underground, New Japan Pro Wrestling, and of course Impact Pro Wrestling, where he became their world champion. Number 4, Tessa Blanchard. Now, the third-generation superstar has more in common with Sami Callihan than being a former Impact World Champion. Yes, I'm talking about being a part of the Rosebuds. Blanchard first appeared on Raw in 2014 when she stood next to Adam Rose along with several other Rosebuds when he was presented the LOL Moment of the Year award at that year's Slammies. She would make further backstage appearances as a part of the Rosebuds before having a short run in NXT in 2016, wrestling the likes of Alexa Bliss and Nia Jax, in addition to competing in the Mae Young Classic. But Blanchard really came into her own after she left WWE when she went on to wrestle all over the world. Her greatest stint, though, came in Impact Wrestling, where first she won the Impact Knockouts Championship and then created history by taking on Sami Callihan in the first intergender match to ever headline a pro wrestling pay-per-view at Slammiversary 17. Earlier this year, she defeated Callihan yet again to become the first female wrestler to be crowned world champion in a major wrestling promotion. Number 3, Alexa Bliss, the most decorated Rosebud of them all. Alexa Bliss's resume speaks for itself. We're talking a 3-time Raw Women's Champion, 2-time SmackDown Women's Champion, 2-time Women's Tag Team Champion, Money in the Bank winner, and host of WrestleMania 35. Alexa has indeed come a long way from being one of Adam Rose's Rosebuds. In fact, sitting next to Rose during one of his party segments or running around the ring with the rest of the group are not the only WWE appearances that Alexa made before she became a 7-time champion. She was part of Triple H's entourage at WrestleMania one time, and her NXT career actually started with a fairly cheesy fairy gimmick. However, all of that changed once she made her main roster debut in 2016. Bliss's in-ring career did suffer a temporary setback after some concussion-related issues, but it has since gotten back on track ever since she partnered up with Nikki Cross and has found success in the women's tag team division. Number 2, the monster among men, Braun Strowman. While Rose himself never captured a championship in WWE, Braun Strowman has won the Universal title, Intercontinental title, Tag Team titles, Money in the Bank briefcase, the Greatest Royal Rumble, and the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. However, when he joined WWE in 2013 after a strongman career, he wasn't off to the greatest of starts. It actually took 2 years for the company to come up with a gimmick for the big man. In between, he made numerous appearances as part of the Exotic Express, a group of Rosebuds running around with Adam Rose. And in December 2014, Strowman finally made his NXT debut and eventually moved up to the main roster as the newest member of the Wyatt family. His singles career boosted after parting ways with Bray Wyatt, and since then, Strowman has been involved in main event angles with the likes of Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins, Brock Lesnar, and Goldberg. And number 1, of course, the Man Becky Lynch. Despite having won fewer titles in WWE than the likes of Alexa Bliss, Charlotte Flair, and Sasha Banks, Becky Lynch is considered by many fans to be one of the greatest wrestlers in WWE today. However, her road to becoming the man has had a lot of twists and turns, and that started in 2013 when she got herself a WWE developmental deal and was determined to make it work, even going as far to request to be part of the Exotic Express and work alongside Adam Rose. Things didn't get much better after that, as she was bundled with an Irish dancer gimmick during her early NXT days, but eventually Lynch found her way and became one of the most prominent members of the Women's Revolution. Eventually, she became the inaugural SmackDown Women's Champion, and her career really took off after a quote-unquote heel turn on Charlotte Flair at SummerSlam 2018. Her post-match beatdown on the Queen resulted in a Steve Austin-like response from the crowd, and that led to Lynch skyrocketing up the card, winning the Royal Rumble in 2019, and eventually both the Raw and SmackDown Women's Championships in a historic WrestleMania 35 main event. And that's our list this time around. Make sure to give us the old thumbs up there, and make sure to subscribe to the Sportskeeda Wrestling YouTube channel for more content like this and exclusive interviews, including my chats with Matt Cardona and Sonya Deville.